And we now enter what is technically Game 2, but effectively Game 3 of this best of 5. Cloud9, they came into the best of 5 with the 1-0 winner's bracket advantage as the champs from the winner's bracket. And, well, Fire Dota shocked them. Pulled out the Tiny Wisp, took it late on the back of some excellent support play, especially from Fog, as well as Fluff. Great Earthshaker stuns, fantastic relocates out. They brought their A games, and Cloud9 went for more of like a timing strategy, wanted to end the game around, say, 20 to 30 minutes, but couldn't do it. Game goes later, Ush gets out of control, and Fire make it a 1-1 series. So now, this is Game 3. Nobody has a chance to lose the series from this one, but it'll set the tone for the rest. You walk away with the 2-1 advantage, and you're close to going to China. The stakes here are big, and with that said, guys, we are going to get underway with Game 3. I'm LD. I'm joined by Merlini and Ben. You wanted to see the Wisp from Cloud9. You're going to get it. Big Daddy's Wisp is in the house.
Looking back at last game, I think Cloud9 has to be pretty unhappy with their draft. They didn't really have any tanky heroes to contest the Tiny, and even if they got BKBs, it would get pierced by Quap's ultimate. So they went for like low HP heroes that do a fair amount of damage, but I think you need like large HP heroes that do slower damage but still a lot of damage. Like I think Bristleback would have been really good for them last game, although
just to deal with that initial combo and then still be able to turn the fights around and finish off the Wisp, have something left in the tank.
Well, they also want a hero that can kite too, and I can understand the Ember and the Weaver pick, but they would have to sacrifice the Bat matchup in order to go for a tanky hero. Anyways, we're on to the next game. Fire with the first pick, Nature's Prophet, and the Zeus.
Yeah, the Zeus and the Lion seem to be the two like go-to supports right now for a lot of these teams, but Lion was banned in the second stage last game. He's not been first stage worthy for either of these teams. Fire kind of changing it up. They were going for Lion Zeus a lot in those games, and we have seen Fog generally excels on the controller type team fight heroes. So the Earthshaker, Lion basically can be with good blink positioning. We've seen a Sand King a bit. They get the Zeus now probably for fluff and stuff, although I guess there's always the chance they could mix it up and run TC as a core on that. Now the Drow ban out from Cloud9.
So that was pretty much the same strat that Fire ran against the Complexity in the last game with the Drow, so won't be letting that happen again. And I don't know, I think Tiny Wisp was actually pretty good at dealing with a Drow Ranger though. BKB, run at her, easy.
We have seen Zeus do pretty well against Wisps in the past, just from that ridiculous burst damage, just blow the Wisp up right away. And with the Prophet here as well, they've got the global combo. Are you looking at a Spectre, or is that just too greedy and late game oriented?
I don't think it pairs that well against a Tiny. I think they shouldn't have picked their offlaner first. I think they should have picked one support first and then see what Cloud9 opens with.
So you would have liked like the Zeus or the Lion opener, something like that? Or
I think the Zeus opener would have been stronger, or Earthshaker, either of those. But now that IX Mike is on the Nature's Prophet, they can kind of take advantage of that. And let's see, last game, oh yeah, the Darkseer too. We forgot to mention like how ineffective the Darkseer was the entire game, and that was drafted pretty early on in the draft. I want to say it was third pick, fourth pick.
It was like right after the Ember, I think, and yeah, it was towards the front half of the draft.
Yeah, so I think that they really needed a higher damage dealer in the in that 3 position, or someone who it just isn't going to die as much. So I think like a Timbersaw would have been really good, especially versus the Wisp combo, and leaving that option open in case Cloud9 goes for the Wisp, like they traditionally, or like a team with Big Daddy would traditionally do, is a easier way to at least break even on the draft. But Cloud9, they were under the gun last game too. It's like, okay, if it goes past 25-30 minutes and Tiny gets a BKB, he's just going to clobber everyone. And
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and you could kind of see it coming. And Cloud9, they took pretty much every effort that they could in game to prevent that from happening too. They invaded the jungle, they tried to kill Wisp over and over again, they killed Tiny early.
It still could have worked if Fire didn't play so well.
Yes.
If Fire made a couple more mistakes, Cloud9 still could have won that game.
But at the same time, yeah, then you have to go back, okay, we played as best as we could. I mean, they didn't play perfectly, but they played pretty darn close.
Like 80,
I would say
90%.
They played very, very well. And after that, you're like, okay, well, we didn't play poorly, so it was our heroes. And I mean, I bet No Tail's like, man, we just lost to a Wisp that wasn't first picked.
Just every time I see No Tail at an event, it's, you know, if Wisp is out there, we're taking Wisp. Like, it's no secret to him, it's no secret to their opponents. He doesn't try to hide it. He loves the hero. He thinks it always is first pick worthy, and we're going to find out if that's indeed the case. They did allow Fire to get their hands on if they wanted, though. They did leave it in the pool, but it is a little bit different when you see a first pick Wisp versus like a third, fourth pick Tiny Wisp ambush coming out of nowhere. Fire will go Chen, though. So this potentially changes things up a bit. Fluff normally the micro player on the team, so if we see Fluff on the Chen, then it could be a Fog Zeus, or maybe it's a Core Zeus this time around. Oh, some really old faces popping up here. Undying comes out now for Cloud9. Looks like a 3-position Undying, and should actually be getting some farm priority this game.
Undying's pretty good here. They lacked a frontliner last game, and I think Undying is pretty good. He's decent against Zeus too, just because you don't really start off with all the strength at the start of the fight. You slowly accumulate your strength, and you're not at full HP all the time. So he's like a pretty good versus a steady, heavy damage dealer like Zeus. On top of that, he's good at stymieing the pushes. They have Tiny, they have Undying. I thought they might go for something like an LC with pretty good wave clear, but they can just fight even earlier. Whenever Chen wants to contest his tower, boom, drop a Tombstone, get some kills.
They're also not that... I was going to say they're not great at killing the Tombstone or the zombies, but that does change quite a bit now with this Bristleback pickup. So they get a tank, something that can deal with the Tiny Wisp combo, and if he's got the basic farm, survive it and look to turn things. Deals with the Tombstone pretty well. Basically just that hero that can get in the thick of things and be the focal point of Cloud9's attention, which allows these other squishier heroes to sit back and nuke and dish out their damage. But they are very light on actual disables here currently. They have a Thunderbolt and Chen Creeps, and that's going to be it. Not often you see the stunless draft.
They still have their mid here. They can go for like a Puck or something if they want, although Puck I think might be a little bit too squishy for their liking. And I don't know if TC plays that often.
What about like a Dragon Knight or something here?
Dragon Knight would be good. Invoker I think would be really good for Fire too. I think Invoker's pretty good at stopping a Tiny Wisp. They have so many ways to kite Tiny, it's ridiculous.
So Fire, I think, or Cloud9 are thinking that Fire have a different idea. They definitely think this is a support Zeus with the Chen, which is certainly how they've been running it. So they think it's a mid Zeus, sorry, and they ban out the Venge instead. So I guess it could really go either way. We'll have to see what Fire have in mind.
What is Fada's hero?
He's been playing a lot of Ember. That's still out there.
Ember I still think is pretty good.
Banned.
10 seconds to pick.
We used to see Fada on Troll a lot.
I think they need more team
Dragon
fight.
Knight.
EO and Bane don't really add that much to the team fight with very minimal AoE abilities, and Tiny is very likely to get kited and focused. So they need a hero I think that can somewhat control fights. Or do a lot of damage, either or.
Yeah, the two best ones for him, the Brew and the Puck, both removed right now. So Fire in good shape as far as those bans go. And then once they see this pick, they'll decide how they want to finish off their draft.
I actually think Invoker for either team would have worked pretty well. And they both have some really good Invoker players.
My main worry right now for Cloud9 is they also don't have very little D-push. And they are up against the Chen Nature's Prophet Bristleback. So they do go Invoker.
It's the Quas Wex. It's really good versus the push. And Fada plays a very, very mean one.
And I feel like they really needed that. They needed... Whatever the hero was, it had to be something that could deep push. But Fire go for something different. This will be a Spirit Breaker for IX Mike, so it looks like Cloud9 was a bit off with their guess. Oh no, okay, it will be a support Spirit Breaker then. TC on the Zeus?
Could be support MP. We don't know.
That's true. Could be a support Nature's Prophet.
Oh, Fog plays MP. But I guess... Yeah, Fog plays MP.
So it is a support Spirit Breaker.
Okay. That's interesting.
Do you think he's gonna do well against this like Tiny Wisp here?
I think Invoker's gonna own him.
It's really hard to charge that hero.
It's really hard to charge anyone on Cloud9's team, I think.
Yeah, Bane can just grip or sleep you. Wisp was probably the ideal target here.
I mean, they can also just drop a Tombstone, and who cares if Spirit Breaker initiates? You don't really want to fight under a Tombstone if you can avoid it, and with the Spirit Breaker charge, you're kind of forced to fight into a position that you don't necessarily want to, whereas generally, Spirit Breaker charging means other teams like, oh crap, we have to fight here.
The last time they ran this hero, it did a ton of work for them, but it was with IX Mike playing it in a core role. This time around,
Oh, they swap.
they do swap. Okay, so that's more along the lines of what you were thinking.
Yeah, I know from personal
support
experience
Nature's
that
Prophet.
Fog loves that MP. He plays a really good MP
Something
too.
Dignitas used to do a lot of way back in the day. All right, folks, we're going to get underway now. Series tied up 1-1. Cloud9 on the Dire side looking to get some momentum. Bone7, you're Undying. Big Daddy No-Tail on his signature Wisp, brushing the bottle. Eternal Envy will be playing the Tiny. Not a hero we've seen him on very often. Misery, the Bane, and that leaves Fada on the Invoker. Picks up the early Null Talisman. Fire will have their jungle contested. A quick decay comes out, urging them backwards. Fog going to be playing the Nature's Prophet. TC on the Zeus. That puts Ush onto your Bristleback, heading towards the safe lane farm. So one position Bristle. Fluff will be the Chen as expected, and that actually does end up leaving Ike's Mike on one of his favorite heroes right now in NEL, which is the Spirit Breaker.
They also don't have any sentries on the side of Fire, but with this Observer Ward placed uphill, they should know that Cloud9 has not invaded the other side of the jungle, although the big camp will be blocked, making it much more difficult for NP and Chen to both share the jungle. So this is a very greedy double jungle strat, but at the same time, Cloud9 does have a Bane and a Wisp. Not the best heroes to shut it down.
Yeah, the Undying is pretty damn good at contesting, if he wants to, but you generally want him sitting in the lane and getting his experience. And with Bone7 playing it, they're going to do a little switcheroo. It looks like Eternal Envy going bottom. The Wisp sitting mid for now with Fada. Daddy gets his bottle out. Misery is going to head down towards bottom, so they may even try for an aggro tri-lane here. Looks like that is indeed the plan.
I don't think it's very risky for them to do so. Like, I mean, Nature's Prophet, is he really going to come out of jungle and contest that tri-lane? Highly improbable.
And I guess with this, the hope is also that they can get into the woods and apply a little bit of extra pressure to these junglers. Fox starting to take a bit of harassment from Misery. And he will be slept quickly. Now they're going to tether in the Wisp. Eternal Envy goes for the Avalanche, but not able to get in range in time. Fog juggling off that sleep and retreating out.
Very nicely played by Fog. I thought he was dead faux show there.
That was a bit scary. Now Ush tries to turn. He's only level 1, though. Not really in the Bristleback's prime. So this ends up leaving top lane as a 1v1. Spirit Breaker versus Undying, and your mid lane will be the TC Zeus against Fada's Invoker, who does go for Wex level 1. And is going, I guess, probably Quas Wex here.
Quas Wex is far better against the push, which is what you expect when you're playing against a Chen.
Uh-oh. Ush in trouble. Caught out bottom lane. They get off the Avalanche. Can they actually finish the job, though? Not quite. Misery starts tanking some big tower shots, but they are bringing the pain in this bottom lane, and that's where Fluff can look to be the X factor. He's going to smoke, head towards the top lane. Wants to make a go here on Bone7. Or maybe wrap you around towards mid. TC kind of low on mana right now. Maybe just going to farm the enemy woods. Any creeps for him? Nothing yet. Mike is getting aggressive. Getting a little spicy up here. Continues to go blow for blow with Bone7, and the wraparound comes now. This could end up being our first blood.
He has a lot of HP. 548. And Mike is at
Mike
200.
is starting to take a lot. There's a Soul Rip available. It's not enough to get the kill, and now the ambush comes in. The clap thrown out, but I don't think it actually connected. Bone7 still tanking through this. They even bring in Fog as reinforcements. Body blocking, nicely done by Fluff. They're going to need a lot more where that came from. Can the tomato clap again? One more auto attack might be enough. The first blood ends up coming to Ush in the bottom lane. He gets a double. He almost ends up getting a triple kill. And they've managed to bring down the Undying in the end. A 3-for-1 exchange around the map. Fire coming out. Guns a-blazing here.
Sick blocks from Fluff.
Well, that's the power of the Nature's Prophet pick as well. Even if he's a support, just bringing in that +1 for a couple extra auto attacks definitely helps secure the kill. And Fluff showing why he used to play jungle all the time. I really miss the jungle heroes. It's nice to see them coming back into vogue.
I think if Fire went for sort of greed strat where they try and outlate game them just by pure farming, whereas Cloud9 had a greedy strat, they just lose.
This is not going well for Bone 7.
Oh,
He's
no.
gonna get turned on. The Bristle God starts to rear his head. Those spiky armadillos.
He's a good hero.
Don't work.
And in mid, Fada.
He might be next. He's got EMP Tornado, but Fogged is waiting with the backstep. He doesn't have a point in Sprout yet, but they don't really need it either with the clap. Ghost Walk, not in time. The Thunder God finishes him off. Another kill, make it 5-1. As Fire.
Could have just tornado. I think he could have tornadoed Chen and just ran back to tower.
I think he kind of panicked there. It just seemed like, or it was like caught off guard, it felt like.
Okay, well, they see Fluff. Misery is there with a level 1 sleep.
They really want to get him out of this woods, but IX Mike is following Eternal Enemy and bashing him too. He's got a charge. He may actually go in here and try to get 1-2 kills out of it. The charge was used, the wraparound comes, they toss him and chuck him back down, but it's Big Daddy who's the real one in trouble, chased out, almost finished off, so too is IX Mike. They get that first kill in the Wisp. Fluff now slept, Fog joining the fray, TC's into the mix. It's an absolute melee in the top lane. Misery and Eternal Envy finally going to bring down Fog and get something going their way. And now they turn their attention towards Fluff. With the hasted TC back in the mix, he throws out the level 3 lightning bolt. Fluff will fall. The Courier's in jeopardy too, almost brought down by auto attacks. And then there's this island of calm in the bottom lane where Ush is just happily farming away.
Wisp respawn time is so low. They killed him and he was there in 15 seconds.
I thought I just killed you, but did I?
Fada's also trying to join the fights a little bit too early. We saw how short range his tornado was. He's only level 4 at this point. TC almost hitting level 6.
Yeah, he hits level 6 early, and the Nature's Ush going for the big dive here bottom lane.
Misery's also smoked mid.
Bone 7 in all kinds of trouble. The Nature's Prophet teleporting in, just getting walloped. A couple more auto attacks, the kill secured, and Misery searching for something, but he might be able to get TC now, actually. This is the vulnerable point, sitting right in this area, where he tries to walk up the ramp, and he walks into the waiting arms of the Bane. There's a Chen in the neighborhood. Might be too late, though. EMP not going to do a ton of damage, as he's mostly out of mana, but it's enough. They now turn this with a Troll Trap. They're sending in the charge, and they don't have any spells on Fada, it looks like. Has an Invoke ready, but that's not going to be followed up with much.
Big Daddy's also there to give some mana to people. And, I mean, Undying's pretty good generally in drawn-out fights, but the longer he stays alive, the more stacks he's taking from Undying. And it's just death after death for Bone 7.
Yeah, the Bristleback and the Spirit Breaker actually handling the Undying pick fairly well. A lot of it just has come down to these rotations from Fluff, who may join the chase here on the Misery. There is a Wisp in reserve. Chen has a Troll Trap, gets off the long-range trap, and now Ush takes a big brain set hit. It's Big Daddy they turn their attention to. They have a Test of Faith, almost finish off the Thunder God's Wrath. Comes out, and another kill secured. 8-4, but Tiny is being allowed to farm now top. He's not really under any pressure. They'll go mid instead, chase onto Fada, charges there. He doesn't have Cold Snap mana. This forces out a double teleport reaction. Now manages to Cold Snap. TC coming in again. They chuck forward Big Daddy, who is very low after that single bolt. TC again zapping from the periphery, but uh-oh. Is he going for that rune? Well, that would be dangerous. He wants to. He wants to fight. He's gonna get chucked. Tossed back down. He didn't get Tether Slow just yet, and they try to run him down. They get the kill.
Not
Well, bottom
respecting
lane.
the Wisp.
Bone 7 TP'ing out.
I mean, the Wisp has just done so much for them. I mean, even just giving them a lot of mana is enough for them to win all these fights early. And on top of that, he has the heal and the damage and the slows and the move speed.
What a topsy-turvy game. Started off with a very early 500 gold lead for Cloud9. Was a 1,500 gold lead for Fire. And now it's gone back completely the other way. Where do you go from here if you're Fire? You know you've given away this tiny Wisp. You had a really hot start. Now you're kind of cooling off. What's your next window that you're looking for?
I think they can actually make Undying fairly irrelevant this game. So I think they just kill him a couple more times, and then eventually Wisp is going to get 6, and they're going to have to deal with relocate ganks. So don't fall prey to relocate ganks. But that's always a given when you're against a Wisp, and IX Mike going to get gripped out on top. But yeah, I'd pretty much focus on making a 4-on-5 because Chen's going to fall off the longer the game gets. Spearbaker probably too, just judging by his start.
Tower is being attacked.
Nice defensive play here from Fada. He manages to tornado, and they keep on trying to pressure the Invoker, but as he gets these levels out, having Ghost Walk means you've got to be walking around with Dust and Sentry. The EMP Tornado, very good to disengage, and he's becoming increasingly difficult to bring down in the lane. Seems Fluff he may start to slip behind in levels here if he's not careful. He's level 5 right now, just ahead of the enemy Wisp. But
Fluff and Mike.
yeah, Mike as well, that's true.
Bone 7 has died 3 times, but at least he's almost level 7. IX Mike has died 2 times and doesn't have his ultimate yet. So they need to recover their levels. Ush is doing okay in terms of farm. I'm not exactly sure what he's getting with his Ring of Health. Could be a pipe, versus a massive amount of magic. Could be
Tornado EMP, nothing really going to connect here aside from a Cold Snap, but it seems like it's enough to drop him low. The Quills are starting to stack up though. Zeus ulti, no mana for it right now, and could have made a big difference there. Bone 7 almost finished off. The chase comes the other way from Fog. Zeus ult now available, but nobody quite low enough to get a kill with. Undying deceptively tanky with those decay stacks. Oh, 9. Finding a big kill there on Usher in the bottom lane. He is the most farmed here in the game for now. The double Hadouken is used. Big Daddy gets zapped and brought down by Zeus, but the trade is Eternal Envy getting a kill. There's no stop here for some time. They continue to just barrage him with nukes, but can't finish the job.
I think Cloud9 is slowly but surely pulling ahead. Nature's Prophet hasn't had any time to farm. Spirit Breaker still not level 6. Chen is slowly falling off too because they're not getting any kills, they're not getting any towers, and Bristle has also died, which means that Tiny's going to trump him in the farm war. They're neck and neck right now, but I foresee Bristleback dying a lot more than the Tiny, just because of the defensive capabilities of EO. They surpass the defensive capabilities of the Chen.
By the way, we're going to see a Midas from TC on the Zeus, so not going for any early utility, just trying to strengthen his economy. Not the most common here to get a Midas on. Uh-oh. Eternal Envy taking some damage here from Ush. Grapes working together with him.
I'm lagging.
And seems you're not the only one. Oh, I'm not lagging like you are, though. You might want to reconnect.
Yeah, I'll probably boot me in a second.
Give you a dust boot. Yeah, Midas Zeus though.
Ugh.
Maybe Fire just feeling like they're not going to be able to snowball that hard and they'll need to have a plan B. But I feel like there's never a good plan B against Tiny Wisp.
Yeah. Kill Wisp. That's your best plan. Kill Wisp lots.
Well, they're trying for that. Prophet's going for a Dagon, it looks like. Staff Wizardry, no tally. I mean, could be something else like a Force Staff. Or
if they go Dagon, though, they won't be able to kill Tiny at all.
Yeah, I guess it could be like a Necro Book as well. That is certainly true.
They don't have enough damage for Tiny. That's the problem that I foresee having. Bristleback's not tanky enough. Zeus went for Midas, so he's likely to just die in fights because he won't have any move speed or force or blink or Yules. Spirit Breaker has been dying a lot. Chen is Chen. Yeah, I don't see this I don't foresee this going well for Fire.
Looks like the server hiccups have calmed down.
I'm still not in. You can go. Don't mind me.
I don't think they will. No, wait for Merlini.
Okay, never mind.
Pretty sure IX Mike would tell me to shut the fuck up. That would be his reaction. Oh no, they're starting to feed their neutral creeps a bit though. Eternal Envy is going to get a lot of gold off of that. That is additional income that he sorely needs. CS, nobody having great farm this game. It's about 4, 5 CS a minute, but you give him those neutrals, now he's suddenly the most farmed hero in terms of net worth. Invoker not far behind him. Cloud9 holding dead even, but with the heroes that generally scale much better into the late game. Not losing towers either, and Fire, aside from that tier 1 bottom, trying to run a pretty heavy push strat, it looks like.
I definitely don't like the Midas on Zeus in this game, though. Yeah, sure, they're not winning the early game, but, I mean, Zeus isn't going to be the one that's going to carry with items. It's the Bristle and the NP and the Spirit Breaker needs BKB. These are the heroes. And Zeus, if he can't really split push and farm out because of the tiny anyways, so they have to win it through fighting.
It's not really Fire who are trying to fight right now. It's gotten very quiet all of a sudden.
Oh, here we go.
It's
TC.
actually Misery who's looking for it. He's got a Fiend's Grip online. His Midas will be delivered, but perhaps just in time for him to enter the grave. He's going to try to run from the zombies, but no chance in hell. Brain Sap will end him. At the same time, they look for the go on Eternal Envy. With Big Daddy there, they're going to summon a Tornado, just trying to get a bit of vision, and he will walk right into this Wildkin, chuck it up. Mike, no charge yet. Not going to have the opportunity as Fada now joins this top lane. Spotted out by a Radiant Observer Ward. They'll relocate onto mid. They isolate Fogged at the tower. He's very close if he wants to go for Dagon, and it's going to delay him here. Flush now rotating through, but they'll be going back soon, and at the same time the Chen goes down. It's all starting to fall apart right now for Fire. 12.5 minutes in, a big dip down in that gold and experience graph.
Yeah, Cloud9 gonna keep up the pressure too. There's no reason that they shouldn't. All they need to do is keep fighting. Tiny will survive. Bristle will be limited in farm because of his lack of mobility, and everyone else will keep dying. So I think this is slowly but surely going Cloud9's way, and Fada has made a very fantastic recovery.
Dire have fortified their towers.
He's controlling all the lanes with Crosswicks too. If someone comes up the lane, he just tornadoes EMPs and they have to go heal. There's a lot of wasted economy just because of that EMP.
And yeah, they're just not getting the objectives. The tower mid is pretty low, to be fair. Top tower fairly healthy, but to be running a Chen Nature's Prophet Bristleback and have one tower at 13 minutes with the start they had. At one point, I believe 8 and 2 it was, something like that.
Well, it's crazy because they have NP and Spirit Breaker and Zeus, and they actually don't have enough mobility because of the Tiny Wisp as well as the Invoker. And they're always like getting picked apart, and they're always reacting to ganks instead of making C9 react to them. But at the same time, they can't really do that either, just because of their builds. They don't have a good way to disengage.
The Vision's also been really good for Cloud9. They've got this deep ward spotting out Fluff. They pretty much know where the Chen is. They've got another ward over in the Radiant jungle, and
Misery's all by his lonesome.
well, this is a long way to charge, though. That's not going to work.
They would get picked off by Relocate.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is Cloud9 have that threat of relocate, but they don't have to commit resources to employ it. It's just passively there while they do other stuff. Whereas if Fire want to be threatening, they got to walk over there, show themselves. They do finally get their Dagon on Fog. He's got the recipe now. Tower mid denied, unfortunately, for Fire. And Cloud9 just starting to take this game by the horns.
Ha. I was looking at Spirit Breaker in his horns. He's charging top.
I was looking at Nature's
So this is the right way to play it, is to kill the Wisp so that they can't. You don't have to worry about relocate, but they can't ever go there because Big Daddy again plays a nice Wisp, and his positioning has been spot on for the majority of this game.
Just the way they're itemizing is, you go for the Dagon on Prophet, you really want to be finding these pickoffs. But then TC goes for a Midas. Generally the item you get if you just want to focus on fighting later.
And same with the Vanguard on Bristle. You ideally want to fight a lot with that, but they haven't been able to take any fights except the ones that they don't want to take.
These wards are just ruining them. You just look at the vision. They keep on seeing heroes pop in and out right around the mid tower. They occasionally showing hero top up on top of the ramp, so they just know it's safe to farm aggressively top and bottom. Wards are really winning Cloud9 this game right now.
They also always see Spirit Breaker and where he's charging.
Normally that hero's scary because you don't see him, but
see, they see the charge already on top, and Fada's already going to back off.
it looks like this one they're going to commit to, though. TP's starting to come in, Fada about to get surrounded, and IX Mike backs down again. He spent an awful lot of time charging and not connecting. They will commit onto this. They get off that initial Spirit Break ultimate. Nether Strike use Fada, scrambling to retreat, but can't. Big Daddy will also fall. So that's a 2-0.
That was a nice surround by Fire. If they had just all approached from the tower, they would have just gotten Tornado EMP and they would have walked away. But I don't know. Also, where was Bone 7? If Bone 7 is there at the fight, they drop a Tombstone. They can keep him alive with
He's
the Soul
also got
Rip.
the Yules to help stall a bit.
Yeah, that would have been a fantastic fight for Bone 7 to be there. But at the same time, he wouldn't have been able to get a lot of decay stacks at the start.
That's true.
So TC might get blink ripped right here.
Throws out a bolt. Misery. Oh, blinks in, but TC pops. So Haze, they get him from around the tree line as Big Daddy rotates in. Chen has Hand of God, does not opt to use it.
Man, this ward has been incredible for C9.
In good news, though, they may be able to catch Misery. Tether not breaking. Nope, just going to relocate right out. Very frustrating time here for Fire. Just when they finally think they have a clean win, it's a messy one. They end up losing a Zeus mid. And they don't get anything in return.
Now Tiny has his Scepter. Still Bristle and Tiny are neck and neck, but I would say that Scepter is much more useful than Vanguard and Sange.
Still only the level 1 grow, but they'll be getting bigger soon. So he's waiting to set the ambush. They pop a drum charge. Eternal Envy charges in, immediately deals with the Spirit Breaker. It's Fogged who's next. He's slept up. Chen can't even get in range for a Sendak or he'll die too, and they're just getting clobbered. If Tiny's beating you this hard at this stage of the game, then you can only imagine what it's going to look like 10, 15, 20 minutes from now. And they may even think about this tier 1 mid. Eternal Envy getting very confident. Winding his way through the Radiant Woods. About to meet with the creeps. They will join forces with Fada. But at the same time, Bone 7 gets ambushed. Tombstone was dropped. They now go in with Ush. Tornado crashing in. Test of Faith also used. They get the first kill. They get a secondary kill. And that might be the fight the Fire are looking for to turn this game around. Now they're chasing Eternal Envy. Where's the backup? The Wisp nowhere in sight. Envy now throwing out a stun, but gets bolted and then tasered by Fogged.
And now Wisp is dead too.
Relocates and they're gonna surround. Sprout summons. They probably walk into Roche after this. Gets charge bash as Hayek's Mike uses it on the bottom lane and then ends up canceling it. But Big Daddy tethers to the north, out of mana on the Zeus, stops to auto attack. They're gonna have to let him live.
Wow, that bash.
That was crazy.
So Bone 7 has just been out of position for the majority of these fights. He was caught to the south of the T1 tower where we saw Tiny just beating on the tower. And he's the ideal target. He's already tethered, he's full HP, he has a ton of armor, he has Craggy, and everyone's expecting Fire to go on him. But with Bone 7 getting caught out down there, there's no saving him.
He's really him and the Invoker, by far the two most important like defensive heroes for them when they get jumped. Just to Tombstone, Soul Rip, get off the EMP Tornado, and cold snap somebody while you try to back off.
They even had a defensive sleep on him on Bane.
Yeah, wasn't enough. He's not actually that tanky with this build. Goes for the Yules, relies a lot on getting those decay stacks up, but the thing with the Dagon and the Zeus is you're often just dead before you even get to cast a decay. So, just like you said, comes down to not being caught out of position. Some games I think you can get away with it better on Undying, but this is not really one of them. Barrier making its way out. And Fire starting to congregate, but as soon as they show a couple heroes top, Tiny's mid, and this should be a freebie for Eternal Envy. Glyph comes out. Well, maybe not a freebie this time around. Big Daddy about to relocate. And he's going to end up relocating up just a bit to the north, but gets brought low. IX Mike ends up getting the kill. Fog will get it with the Dagon. And now looks for Eternal Envy on the TP out close to dying, but they can't finish the job. An army of beasts fighting their way through the Tombstone. These 4 creeps for fluff. It's just a lot to be able to roll around the map with. It's like watching a small team. Feels like 9v5 at times. Uh-oh. Fada gonna maybe reveal the fact that he's... Oh, he's invis, not Ghost Wall.
Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked.
So he'll just chill in the neighborhood. Fog managed to get down a nice Observer ward, and he'll quickly TP out. Definitely one of the big benefits of this support Nature's Prophet, just having a lot more flexibility in your warding movements. Fog taking full advantage.
Tiny starting to get pretty large, though. We'll have an AC out fairly soon. And Fado was not present at that last fight. I think they kind of needed him to follow up with the Tombstone. I think their general idea is, okay, drop Tombstone. If they focus it, we Tornado, and then keep decaying, and Tiny will get sustained through Soul Rip as well as the Wisp Peel. And as long as Wisp doesn't die, we should be okay. But they haven't been able to do that.
I'll walk into the Roach Pit, uncontested. Eternal Envy will get Alacrity and just make mincemeat out of the Roche. This is completely uncontested. They started to see a couple of heroes roaming towards top, and as soon as they, even before they saw that, they'd already been smoked. But as soon as they see that, they're like, great, free roach for us. An immediate relocate mid. They're going to take a tier 1 here as well. Decisive movements from Eternal Envy and Big Daddy. And it looks like they won't even defend this tier 2 top. Just go for the trades elsewhere, get close to the AC, and then they'll take the fight when it comes, if it comes to their base. Is Fire ready to try something like that? They feel that desperate. They are sticking around near the top side of the map. But now they're gonna back off a bit.
Bone 7 needs to build more defensive items too. We see casual Vit Booster a lot. We see casual Cloak a lot. Crimson Guard is also pretty common, although I don't think it's that great versus Fire, unless you're worried about the Chen summons. But speaking of Chen, still no Mech complete. Oh, actually, it's coming on Chicken right now, but still 22 minutes.
Pretty late.
Yeah, it is. He's been very active, though.
Yeah, it just comes with the territory of how they wanted to approach this game. They did not want to focus on... They wanted to just shut Cloud9 down from, like, the very start of the game, not 5-10 minutes in. And, of course, with that, and the Prophet also taking some of the woods, there's less farm to go around.
Misery in the Fog, he's looking for a kill on Fog, but Mike...
Relocate. Are they going to get eyes on anyone else? Mike is very close to being spotted out by Ward, and right as he is, the grip comes. Mike's ready to charge this, but then he just stops the charge, gets slept. EE just clearing out Chen creeps instead. Mike's going to go for his ult now. Now they get a Zeus jump in as well. Nearly finishes off Big Daddy, but he barely escapes at the final hour. Again, they just can't finish him off.
They lose a jump for that, too.
The Bane ends up going down, and in good news, they do save their Tiny Wisp, though. Big Daddy now nearly completing a Vlad's, it looks like.
I think EE could just own Spirit Breaker there, too. He chose to go for the Chen creeps instead of the Spirit Breaker, who was slept.
Yeah, there was even pings coming out for Misery. He thought that they were going to come and help him, but they clearly had a disagreement about what the objective should be there.
Fada getting charged.
He has a Force Staff, as well as the Force Staff to the high ground, Tornado down to the low ground, and the charge is over. Just so tough to gank a good Invoker or Spirit Breaker. Maybe if he got a Shadow Blade, but Mike's just not really getting much farm this game. We did see him use that to great effect in yesterday's games. Fire just not being able to play with the level of intensity and tempo that this draft was looking for. Gets the 4 to outer towers, but hasn't cracked high ground, hasn't been able to secure Roshan, isn't shutting down the Tiny's farm, isn't forcing out any buybacks, just trading.
They really needed to stop the Roshan, but I think they actually have a better Roshan lineup, too. With Chen and NP and Bristle, all these heroes are excellent, whereas C9 just have Tiny Wisp. But now that EE has that, it's going to be really difficult for Fire to catch up now. They were neck and neck for about 10 minutes, and now he's 3,000 net worth ahead, because he can just play as briskly as he wants.
They are going to push mid. Fire grouping up here. Misery getting aggressive on the top side of the map, and on the bottom side, Fada ends up getting charged, caught up by X-Mike, then bashed, Fog arriving, and again zaps him. As soon as this is spotted, they immediately descend on mid. Cloud9 looking for that trade-off as always. They can't quite get in close onto the Bristleback, but instead it's TC who's trapped out. He is mech'd and kept alive for now. Chen, Hand of God not being used. It will be now, but to no avail. The gem passed back the other way. Mike charges all the way through onto Misery, manages to end the Fiend's grip. Fada fought back for this. Getting the 2 kills there in exchange for his own death earlier. And now a relocate. They relocate in one direction, they sleep Mike in the other. Ush heading for the hills, but Tiny there to greet him and tosses him up, smacks him back down. Another quick kill. Cloud9 make it 3 for the cost of an Invoker death and a buyback. And not much Fire can do once they all get on top of them like that.
The unstoppable beast, that is Tiny.
We may start seeing some Wisp bans in this series.
If you're second pick.
Yeah. This game, Fire didn't want to go for it. So, I mean, with that in mind, maybe Cloud9... I feel like Fire are more likely to ban it than Cloud9. They seem pretty confident they can beat Fire's Wisp if they know it's coming.
Its middle tower is being attacked.
And if they don't first pick it, then Cloud9 probably looks to second pick it. Wow. Tiny clubbing. Both teams struggling for supremacy here. Only one team can represent America in the Dota 2 Asia Championships. And right now, Cloud9 going for that lane of Rex, trying to make it a 2-1 best of 5, closing in. Fog trying to get off the quick Dagon, but can't do it. It's Misery who sleeps him. They end up losing Spirit Breaker, losing a tier 3, and just being forced to back out. Still, objective achieved for Cloud9. Nothing for Fire, and they're just in total reactionary mode at this point. Can't really control the tempo. The only thing they've got are Spirit Breaker charges, and Cloud9 are very good at dealing with those. Relocate's great against it. The Invoker can often by himself get his way out of those sticky situations. It's tough.
On top of that, C9 has Roshan control. I think one more Roshan, it's close to being game over for them. The gap in between Bristle and Tiny is extended to over 5,000 net worth. And Tiny already has a steroid from the EO. And a Vlad's on EO.
The armor adds up. The Bristleback doesn't really hit that hard at this point. He went for more of a utility build. Sanjayasha, BKB coming.
He also gets craggied if he goes too hard on the Tiny.
And he just doesn't do enough damage. Like, he tries to go on him, he gets craggy. Even if he gets the BKB, it doesn't. The Bristleback's not going to win that fight at this stage of the game.
And they have grip without too many ways to interrupt it.
Yeah, they have Lightning Bolt and the Spirit Breaker, and maybe some creeps for fluff. It's getting to that point in the game where it's kind of hard to maintain an ideal creep army. Tiny finds them, just one combo, your entire 400 gold of creeps, and just investment in general is gone. 300 more like, but...
And Invoker closing in on his Scythe of Vice. Just needs 100 gold until that. Looks like he has it right now. Here comes the smoke from Fire. Ush leading the charge, TC and Mike and Fluff all nearby, and a ramble towards this bottom tier 2. C9 are actually coming here as well. They're bringing the Tiny, they glyph. No hero spotted. C9 have to be a bit suspicious. Envy is reluctant to approach this tower. He wants to wait until his whole team's in the neighborhood. Now they are. They avalanche the creeps. Are they going in or not? Doesn't really seem like they want to. Now showing quite a few heroes. Tornado EMP pushes Ush into the tree line. They relocate to the top side of the map where Tiny and Wisp will jump onto Fog, but he throws out the E-Blade Dagon. Not enough to finish off Big Daddy, unfortunately. And now we're going to return our attention to top, where the Invoker as well as the Undying have fallen. Tiny, not going to be brought back. Just Big Daddy. He goes down too. It's a 3-for-1. Nice little trade there for Fire, all things considered. But Envy in position to probably draw them back. Oh, we'll see. He's not coming back just yet. Buyback status, nobody on Cloud9 who's dead has it. They have 30, 40 seconds to try and push in. With only a Bane and a Tiny alive, but they've also only left their Chen and Bristleback here. Goo comes out, Envy a lot easier to kite when you don't have the Wisp backing him up. They will bring down the tower, looking for more. Ush continuing to Goo and control, but so much for that. Chen send back. Is Fluff going to get there in time? Gets off the Hand of God, and no, not even going to bother. No, he does send it back just in the nick of time at the buzzer. Ush makes it home. Fluff will TP out. And what looked like a great, just Tiny Wisp scenario of being able to base trade turns into a decent victory for Fire. I'm so surprised that they didn't kill him in that grip.
That was down to the wire.
The Blink Chen.
Yeah, this is... You blink in, you bring all your creeps to you, and I guess if he gets the right creeps, he may be able to just turn a fight.
I don't think you want to be in the middle of the fight, though, as a Chen. Tiny will cleave all your creeps down, and he has a BKB.
Yeah, that's like the more aggressive way. Of course, there's the safe defensive blink, sleep, or sensible attack play as well. Zeusol comes out. Ush, no backup for that, but it's a low cooldown ultimate. 85 seconds to go, and they just chase onwards. Tiny into the front lines, all working on his way to Fluff, gets stunned, nicely done. And so they'll head to the other direction instead, where they've managed to isolate the Zeus he's dealt with easily. And now they relocate onto Fog. He's in a bit of a pickle here. Has the E-Blade Dagon. Can't get the vision right now. Ends up throwing out the Ethereal Blade on Eternal Envy. Then zaps Big Daddy. Nice use of fog there. How fitting.
Ha.
And now on to Ike's Mike. He slept. Looks to be the fourth. Hexed out. Caught in the ice wall. And then slowly but surely right click down. They use him as he attempts to go for his ultimate. And now he'll get it off. Might even manage to finish up Misery. Nope, not going to happen. And oh, by the way, there's still a tiny Wisp here. That Wisp of Big Daddy has seen better days. Needs quite a bit of medical assistance. Even creeps doing their best to bring him down. But the Tiny's help. He gets some alacrity. Doesn't desperately need the Wisp any longer. Another nice benefit to this duo. Cloud9 continue to push in. This will be one lane of Rax. Do they stop here? Everyone respawns soon. They may. It looks like that'll be it. They take now, but they don't look to end the game just yet.
Yeah, when it's a game of the series, you can't afford to take risks like that, especially when Roshan is up. It was almost a max respawn. It was like 2:15 out of 3 minutes. Pretty high respawn, and looks like Ush is headed over there, and C9 can't not afford to give this one up. Ush has a DD too.
But is he going to go towards the pit? He is. He walks right in, and what do you know? Fada's waiting, Tornado's there, no more double damage rune for you, Ush. And then for good measure, an EMP. Well, the thought was nice.
You have to take that risk if you're Fire. They're on the brink of just falling apart. I mean, they've already kind of fallen apart, but they could bring it back together, but only
But
with
like if everything goes their way, and Roche certainly a big part of that.
Roshan, Tiny getting kited, lots of bashes going Mike's way, Zeus not dying early on in a fight.
They'll have a breather here, only a brief one. Another lag pause, but seems the servers have calmed down. They'll let us resume our game. Still looking very Cloud9 favored. 10k gold lead, but with the fantastic late game lineup and no gigantic bristleback Toria, just a medium-sized one for Ush. Another Tornado EMP into the pit. So if they go for this rush, Cloud9 will bring 5, and they will have an all-out brawl in their hands. Last time they had one, it did not end well.
I mean, they could also do the thing where you push left side, all 5 of Fire are standing there, and then you relocate to do Roche. It's this play I've seen done before.
Yeah, there's a lot of tricks they can pull out having the... Uh-oh. There's a jump in. Ush is going to walk forward, but there's a lot of heroes waiting behind him. Mike gets interrupted with an avalanche as he's attempting to complete his charge. They do bring Fonalo, finishing him off, turning their attention to Bone 7. Where are the Tiny Wisp for now? They're just off in the middle lane. They jumped forward to get this kill in Nature's Prophet. Now they return, but it's a bit of an ambush. Well, maybe it's not. Eternal Envy getting control now. He loses his Wisp. He's held in position, but then Misery arrives, tries to throw out the sleep to turn things about, and they start to kite him, but it takes a while. They stomp him, goo him up a bit. Big Daddy rejoins the fray. He bought back for this. They do not want this Roche going down uncontested. Leaping out with the blink is Fluff. He will end up surviving. At the same time, Ike's Mike goes down, and it leaves only TC to try and salvage this Misery, though. Manages to get off of sleep. It's going to cost TC his life, it looks like. Toss forward. Big Daddy ends him. And now it's into the pit. Buyback status for the Radiant. They have 0.
Bristle got owned by Tiny so badly.
GG. That was it. Their final gambit in this game number 3 didn't pay off. Cloud9 now 1 win away from a trip to China at the Dota 2 Asia Championships.
It's all about the Wisp Tiny.
It's been the story of the series. Heavy flashbacks to TI3.
I liked the strategy with the Nature's Prophet, but it was just too weak at scaling into the mid to late. Like, they were doing fantastically in the first 10, and then he got his Dagon, and then what? They killed Wisp maybe like twice with it. And, I mean, there's no other item that would have transitioned that well. It's just a inherent problem with their strategy.